Folks, it has finally happened. I'm hearing that the UFO files are being released, and we might have actually just got some of the first images and videos from the US government admitting and showing the world that unidentified flying objects are circulating amongst us. They have no idea what they are, and these UFOs is just a giant mystery still to this day. We don't know what the hell's going on with them. So I'm very, very excited, and I think that over the coming days and weeks, we're going to find a lot more, because just like the Epstein files, the UFO files apparently have been dumped on the desk of the people, and now it is up to the investigators, the congressmen, the senators to dig into the files and actually find out what's going on. But just to give you some context, okay, I was one of the first people covering this on this channel. I also recently took everything that I've learned over the last 4 or 5 months about the UFO files and the missing UFO scientists and put it in a documentary style video on my main channel, Trap Law Ross. They Knew Too Much, the UFO murders. All right, go and check that out if you haven't. This is a very different lane for me. This is a different style of content. Okay, we're expanding beyond the hip hop culture and the true crime, and that's all stuff we're very interested in, of course, and we're never going to stop talking about it. But the UFO murders are very, very fascinating, and you should go and check this video out because it lays all of it out in one big video that's really easy for you guys to understand. But anyway, today it's official. This is something that people have literally been waiting for decades to see announced. The Department of War just made the official announcement that they had released the first batch, part 1, of the alien files. Now, is this going to be as explosive as the Epstein files? It's yet to be seen. So this is the Department of War releasing the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, UAP files, aka UFO files, aka them alien files, in a historic transparency effort. Now, you've got to give it to Trump. This is something that no president had the stones to do. You got Barack Obama over here getting tongue-tied in a twist talking about their UFOs, accidentally saying the wrong shit. But finally, this government, this administration is actually going to reveal to us some of the most interesting things in the world, or outside of this world. So today, the Department of War announced the initial release of new, never-before-seen files on unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, as part of the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters, aka Pursue. Okay. The intra-agency effort includes the White House, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, the Department of Energy, DOE, the Dow's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, National Aeronautics Space Administration, NASA, the FBI. Additional components of U.S. intelligence agencies in the collection will be housed on war.gov/UFO, and additional files will be released by the Department of War on an ongoing basis. Look how sick the website for the UFO files looks. I low-key feel like they stole their styling from the Sentinel report that's been publishing all this info. What the hell? So this is the Sentinel briefing, or the Sentinel.network, that's been exposing the government's UFO secrets and the missing UFO scientists. The Department of War looks it's the set. What is this? Is there something going on with this? Is there something connected here? This is insane. Anyway, I'll keep reading the press briefing and then I'll break down some of what's going on. There's quite a long breakdown. Okay. All right. So they basically go on. It says the release follows the direction of President Donald J. Trump to begin the process of identifying and declassifying government files related to UAPs in the interest of total transparency. No other president or administration in history has followed through on this level of UAP transparency. The American people can now access the federal government's declassified UAP files instantly. The latest UAP videos, photos, and original source documents from across the entire United States government are all in one place. No clearance required. While past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum transparency to the public, who can ultimately make up their own minds about the information contained in these files. The American people have asked for more transparency on these topics, and President Trump is delivering. While all of the files have been reviewed for security purposes, many of the materials have not yet been analyzed for resolution or any anomalies. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said, "The Department of War is in lockstep with President Trump to bring unprecedented transparency regarding our government's understanding of unidentified anomalous phenomena. These files hidden behind classifications of long-fueled justified speculation, and it's time the American people see it for themselves. The release of declassified documents demonstrates the Trump administration's earnest commitment to unprecedented transparency." Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard said the American people have long sought transparency about the government's knowledge of unidentified anomalous phenomena. Under President Trump's leadership, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence is actively coordinating the intelligence community's declassification efforts with the Department of War to use this. They need some punctuation, man. To ensure a careful, comprehensive, and unprecedented review of our holdings to provide the American people with maximum transparency. Tulsi Gabbard, man, break it up. Today's release is the first in what will be an ongoing joint classification and release effort. FBI Director Kash Patel says the FBI is proud to stand alongside President Trump and our intra-agency partners in this landmark release of UAP records. For the first time in history, the American people have unfettered access to declassified government files on unidentified anomalous phenomenon. Whatever, all right? Let's get into them alien files, okay? So Fox News would announce the release and actually break down some of the most interesting stuff that popped up in these files straight away.
So, a White House official left this hard drive on my desk overnight. You can see on it, it says AARO files copy 2 of 3. That is the All Domain Resolution Office copy 2 of 3. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips and videos on there have popped up different places before. Some of them have not. And we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here. So let's go to the first clip over the skies of the United Arab Emirates in June 2024. An inverted teardrop with a vertically linear trailing mass, as described by the War Department, suspended below. The War Department cannot say for sure what this is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. The next video, over the skies of Iraq, December 2022, moving bottom left to top right of the field of view. All CENTCOM gets from this is an area of contrast. That's what they describe it as. It is officially still listed as an unresolved UAP report. Next video, over the skies of Greece, October 2023, what is described as a small and circular UAP flying near the surface of the ocean towards land. CENTCOM can't tell us what it is. It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. Within the last 2 minutes, all of these videos have gone live on war.gov/UFO, and a White House official tells Fox First, while past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum transparency to the public, who can ultimately make up their own minds about the information contained in these files. And there's also a fresh look at some historical records. There's this from Apollo 17 included in this big document dump. One of the astronauts says, we've got a few very bright particles or fragments or something that go drifting by as we maneuver. The control center says, Roger, understood. Another astronaut says, there's a whole bunch of big ones on my window down there, just bright. It looks like the 4th of July out of Ron's window. Another astronaut says, yes, now you can see some of them in shape. They're very jagged, angular fragments that are tumbling. This exchange has long been dismissed as floating insulation. But now the White House is saying, while this photo has been previously released and discussed by keen observers, there is no consensus about the nature of the anomaly. And this all started, of course, because we asked the president about it in February.
So, look, we're seeing some of these UFO images, these videos, unexplained. We still don't know what they are. Now, while this initial reveal didn't show loads, we didn't see pics of them aliens chilling, kicking it, okay? We did actually see some things that actually lined up with things we've spoken about on this channel previously. One example is an image that circulated last year online showing what some described as a strange star-shaped object. It says, what the hell is going on with this star UFO circling around Twitter and Reddit recently? So this picture had been going around, okay, and this was included in the files. This was verified. Now, this was reported as a fake. Okay, I saw a lot of comments of people saying this is fake, it's AI, it's nonsense, it's all proof that it's a fake. Okay, they're saying the second one's fake, the first one isn't. But apparently these images were actually included in the UFO files and they are genuine. Now, the newly released footage appears to show something very similar to this. And this is very, very interesting. It says, from the newly released videos, what the F are we even looking at? See, it's like a star-shaped something, and it's moving around with a lot of speed. It's leaving a trail behind it. I ain't never seen nothing like that. That ain't no aeroplane. That ain't no drone. That's a UFO for real. What the hell am I looking at? This shit for real, man. What the hell is that? Wow. See it leaving the trail? It's like it's writing something. We've talked a lot about anti-gravity technology, and I personally feel like this could well be an example of anti-gravity technology that we're seeing here. The way that this object moves is very unusual. It's not moving like a spacecraft. It's not moving with a thrust. You know, when an airplane takes off, it produces a lot of thrust and it pushes it forward. It can't just stop in the air and back up and reverse a couple centimeters. That's not how it works. That's not how gravity works. So that is very, very interesting. They're saying, finally, we found it. That thing's on every map I've ever seen. They're tapped in, man. Okay. Saying what you see is not the shape of the object itself, but it's a known flare that happens when a bright object is directly in frame of an FLIR camera. The video feed is inverted so it appears black. So this is actually how it would have looked. It's something that's so bright, emanating all this light. That's the light. We're not seeing the object shaped like that. It says they release it without making that clear, just to muddy the waters more. It's the same reason that E files were dumped en masse with no context. I don't know about that. So some effing context would be nice. They could at least tell us what they were doing when they caught this. Probably on a patrol with an MQ-9 drone. Got bored, started looking around and saw that. The sensor operator and pilot can just be as clueless as the public. I have thousands of hours from MFV ops. We saw plastic bags and other random shit in the desert all the time. I mean, we followed a pack of wild dogs once because all we were doing was enforcing curfew in Afghanistan, but nobody was outside. That must be some kind of optical lens flare. The chance of an object facing you head on constantly without changing its angle is very unlikely. It says the coolest things are the moon images. These are definitely something. So wow, these are new pictures of the moon taken on the surface of the moon. That is very, very interesting. What the hell? And is that some kind of UFO out in the stars and the moon? That's crazy. I don't really know what I'm looking at there, but that is the surface of the moon, man. Really sent a man to the moon. A lot of people don't really believe we went to the moon, but I think we did. So obviously this is where it popped up before. Okay, it says, why is it leaving an exhaust trail, though? For the life of me, I cannot remember a single UAP instance where the exhaust trails were left. It doesn't line up with other phenomena. It has to be man-made. So yeah, it's really interesting. So at the same time, a lot of questions have been coming up about why the Apollo 11 moon landings essentially sort of led to the astronauts appearing unusually subdued after returning to Earth, and it kind of raised a few questions from this footage that you might remember from back in the day.
At this time, I'd like to introduce the Apollo 11 crew, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, Edwin Aldrin. Neil?
It was our pleasure to have participated in one great adventure. It's an adventure that took place not just in the month of July, but rather one that took place in the last decade.
What the hell's going on? These guys look shook. You just landed from space. You just were first. I'm the first one. I'm delighted to say I'm the first. He's seen some shit. He's seen something up there. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, so I'm gonna. What the hell? You was just on the moon. So apparently, okay, that picture that I just showed you, all right, this is like, apparently they found something interesting, something weird, something unusual from the moon. It says photos from the surface of the moon on the Apollo 12 mission, okay? They're saying they see some weird shit in the sky. They see some strange shapes, some objects, some UAPs, right? Area 1, Area 2. Camera ain't doing too good, but there was some activity going on up there. There's a few interesting things in the moon sky, all right? So people are saying, what the hell was going on? So there's sort of some interesting reports. And I'm going to break this down to you. I'm going to break this all down to you. There's the full debriefings for the different Apollo missions that were in the files. It says, where are the photos and videos that left Congress people speechless? I want to know the information that left Jimmy Carter crying from his debrief. Why was Jimmy crying? It says the last photo, at least, is Apollo 17. Look at the difference in image quality from the release today, and the same picture stored in the Smithsonian Air and Space Archive. For best results, download the Smithsonian picture and zoom in on the lower right sky. It's clear that if they are downsampling the fidelity of this image in today's release, I'll see if I can find more of these. This is why do you think they're choosing to do that to the images? They're saying they want to tone down the response to the public. They suggest somebody wants the public to know we have an alien presence with us, but somebody wants the public not to get excited about it. It's unusual, right? It's unusual. So here's sort of more detail on the reports of what was going on up there. So this was on X. All right, here it is. Here it is. Okay, it says incredible NASA Apollo 11 UFO report from Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins. Alien emojis. Apollo 11 technical crew debriefing, July 31st, 1969. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins describe seeing a mysterious, brighter object tumbling past their spacecraft on the way to the moon. Aldrin said, "We happened to see this one brighter object going by. It looked like a hollow cylinder. You could look right down in its guts. Open book shape. It was really weird. These are wild. What do you think? We are not alone." Apollo 11 was the third crewed mission to the moon and the first to land astronauts on the lunar surface. This document is an excerpt from the Apollo 11 Technical Crew Debriefing Volumes 1 and 2 from July 31st, 1969. The document highlights 3 observations. 1, an object on the way out to the moon. 2, flashes of light inside the cabin. And 3, a sighting on the return trip of a bright light tentatively assumed by the crew to be a laser. Page 6 to 33, Volume 1, lunar module pilot for Apollo 11, Buzz Aldrin, said, "The first unusual thing I saw, I guess, was one day out or something pretty close to the moon. It had a sizable dimension to it, so we put the monocular on it. The crew speculated it could have been the SIVB stage of the Saturn V launch vehicle." On page 6 to 37, Volume 1, lunar module pilot for Apollo 11, Buzz Aldrin, said, "The other observation that I made accumulated gradually. I don't know whether I saw it the first night, but I'm sure I saw it the second night. I was trying to go to sleep with all the lights on. I observed what I thought were little flashes inside the cabin, spaced a couple of minutes apart." Page 21 to 1, Volume 2, Buzz Aldrin said, "I observed what appeared to be a fairly bright light source, which we tentatively ascribed to a possible laser." So who's firing up these lasers, all right? What are these unusual book-shaped objects flying through space? It's very, very unusual. Now, there's been an unconfirmed photo of a saucer man that's apparently been going around for quite some time, and this is believed to potentially be a little alien that's been recovered, okay? A saucer crewman, very much like the Moon Man or Spirit, described by Swedenborg in his writings about the inhabitants of different planets of the solar system with whom he stated he had conversations. The photo is from Germany, note trench coats and North European types, but the saucer crewman is from a UFO that crashed near Mexico City and the corpses were sent to Germany for study. Was he based on Luna? This is a... What? What on Earth? This... What on space? This is an alien, the pic of an alien. What are we doing here? It's insane. So this has, all right, this saucer crewman looks ridiculous. Looks like a joke. That can't be true. Ain't no aliens out here. Apparently, this has been confirmed in the alien files now. This has now been officially confirmed in the alien files. Aliens are real. Page... Oh my God, can we just... Go to page 99 out of 184. There's literally a picture of how an alien looks like. LOL. That's an alien. First batch of files to be out weekly. The Trump administration on Friday released a batch of never-before-seen files and videos on unidentified anomalous phenomenon, and as part of an effort to increase transparency on government knowledge of extraterrestrial folly. That's an alien! That's an alien! Yo! That's a real deal. Real spill alien, bro. We spilling the tea. What the... That's an alien! So this is actually, I believe, an edited image. It's almost like they're doing some kind of X-ray vision to this image, right? They're saying this is the original image of the alien being held up. 100% knew I'd seen this before. Thanks for posting. 2 MIB agents hold up the remains of an alien found in a crash UFO while Jawas watch in the background, waiting to start stripping the craft down. Oh, okay, that's some Star Wars reference. So it's saying that's the original image. Here you go. Spacecraft Beyond 3 Dimensions, published in 1959. He's wearing little boots, right? It even predates this. The book photo was taken from a German paper on April Fool's Day. What? German April Fool's Day hoaxes. They're saying it's a hoax. Then why is it in the alien files? Where's the alien? Is this a thing they be doing over there? What was it, 1950 something? I don't really want to know. I don't want to hear about no jokes the Germans was playing in 1950. This is a different picture. They're saying the extraterrestrial Silverman. They posted a picture of the tiny aluminum-covered man. They did it again in 1950, Martian in the USA. The alien with a very large head and a small body. So, I guess this was another joke. Was it a picture of a kid they had dressed up? This photo was surfaced in the UFO research community. It was thought to be actual evidence. It happened after an unknown informant sent it to the FBI without noting it as an April Fool's, and the FBI filed it away, then released it to a UFO researcher after he filed a Freedom of Information. So they're trolling. They're trolling. So apparently this isn't true. Is this true? Like, can we prove that? Tiny aluminum-colored man. The photo became a famous alien photo after its origin as an April Fool hoax was forgotten. Apparently it's not true, even though that's in the files. So people are saying it's not true. Why would they make it look less legible and then reveal it as proof? Very odd. So here's some more reporting of what's been found in the files. This says Gemini 7 astronauts spotted a brilliant body with trillions of particles in space more than 60 years ago. It said astronauts aboard the Gemini 7 space mission more than 60 years ago reported seeing a bogey, unidentified object, with one describing it as a brilliant body with trillions of particles on it, according to papers and files released by the Pentagon on Friday. So it says NASA astronauts Frank Borman and Jim Lovell, let's get rid of that UFO real quick, detailed the rare sighting to mission control, and their observations were recorded in a transcript made public for the first time. And we got some more footage of that UFO encounter and shit there. It said, we have a bogey at 10 o'clock high, Borman radioed on December the 5th, 1965, according to the transcript. And when a NASA official questioned whether Borman was describing the Gemini craft's own booster rocket or describing a natural sighting, the astronaut answered, "We have debris up here. This is an actual sighting." Okay. An astronaut aboard the Gemini 7 space mission more than 60 years ago reported seeing a bogey, an identified object that looked like path of a vehicle. After confirming with mission control that he could see the booster, Borman continued, "We have very, very many. It looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left, about 3 or 4 miles." In his next message, which transcript shows was partially garbled, Borman indicates the particles were at 90 degrees from the path of the vehicle and had begun going into polar orbit. Were these particles in addition to the booster and the bogey at 10 o'clock high, mission control asked. At that point, Lovell, best known for commanding the abortive Apollo 13 mission 5 years later and being played by Tom Hanks in the 1995 movie of the same name, chimed in with what he saw. "I have the booster on my side," he radioed back before describing the UFO. "It's a brilliant body in the sun against a black background with trillions of particles on it. It's ahead of us at 2 o'clock, slowly tumbling." The Department of War unveiled its new website dedicated to the UFO files, releasing an initial cache of 162 documents in response to a February executive order by President Donald Trump. The American people can now access the UAP files instantly. All right, the Pentagon said they're all there. We already knew that. All right, so there's a few interesting things that have come up, all right? This is apparently orbs launching other orbs in space. It says, "I've only ever had one UFO sighting in my life. It was almost 15 years ago at dusk on 2 separate days, same objects. What I saw is exactly what's described here in the Western US event from 2023 reported today." So this says orbs launching orbs. 3 teams of 2 federal law enforcement special agents each, USPA 1 through USPA 6, independently describe seeing orange orbs in the sky, emitting and launching smaller red orbs in groups of 2 to 4, with 3 being the general consensus. This is stated to have occurred at least 5 times. Each time the strange orb would appear, launch red orbs, then disappear. The orange orb was only visible for 1 or 2 seconds. The red orbs would generally move away from the orange mother orb in a horizontal path, but in a couple of instances, one red orb was stated to have moved heading up at an angle, while another witness stated that sometimes the red orbs would swoop down after being launched from the larger orange orb. These events were witnessed by multiple teams from varying locations and vantage points over a 2-day period. Due to the sequential nature of the events, it's not known whether there was a single orange mother orb that released the groups of red orbs and whether there was multiple orange orbs at play. Very interesting, okay? So NASA would apparently capture documentary evidence of UFOs too that's been released in the files. This says NASA captured UFOs on camera. The secrecy has ended today. UFOs are real. NASA's STS-75 Space Shuttle Columbia mission in February 1996 had a 12-mile tether breaking loose in space, then getting swarmed by pulsating orbs that change direction like they're alive. Let's see them aliens.
Copy that. Clear. 7, go ahead. This is Houston. Say again, 7.
What's going on with these orbs, man? The hell? They're just floating around, no gravity. What on Earth? What in space? That's freaky as hell, man. That is freaky as hell. They're saying all this secrecy for this quality, years of national security, classified briefings, congressional hearings, and whistleblowers just to drop blurry, grainy potato cam footage. It looks like it was recorded in 2004 during a flip phone through the storm. Well, I'm sorry that the aliens didn't give us 4K cameras back in 2006 to film everything on in space. And I'm sorry that we've not got a full Joe Rogan Experience podcast with aliens sitting down. But this is major. This UFO disclosure is major, and there's going to be more. And people... Representative Tim Burchett is pointing it out, okay, that he says, remember the feds told us these files didn't exist and real Donald Trump stood up to the deep state. The first drop will be big, but in comparison what is coming, they will be a drop in the bucket. I would say, holy crap is coming, right? And this is in response to someone saying, hey, Tim Burchett, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 not much, 10 being holy crap, what are the UFO files going to be like? So he's saying day 1 is mid, but the holy crap is coming. And Trump is going to be releasing files every week, all right? We got the full box set releasing, just like the Epstein files, okay? We're in season 1 right now, and I'm very, very excited, okay? So look, I've just found this out, all right? I'm going to be clicking through a lot of this. And honestly, shout out to Trump for putting this out there, okay? Look at all of these examples, all right? What I love about this is this has been designed, ironically, to look a lot like the Sentinel Briefings website, which I think is hilarious. But this is basically introduction, all right? And let's just have a little... I don't want to dig into this too much now. I'm going to dig into it more later. But these are a bunch of examples of these UAP phenomenon. This is an infrared still image, black hot, captured of an unidentified object over Western United States in December of 2025. This recent, this fresh. December 2025. Right? Is that the same one? That's the same one. This is another one. Infrared still image, black hot, captured of unidentified object over Western United States in September of 2025. This is a great website. That low-key looks like a helicopter to me. That's the same one, September. It says it's below the helicopter. Oh, so this is the UFO here. That's a helicopter over there. So this is infrared still image of the same one in September. That's the same one in September. Them little dots. It's like a two-piece thing. Now, this is crazy. This is an actual site photo with FBI lab-rendered graphic overlay depicting the corroborating eyewitness reports from September of 2023 of an apparent ellipsoid bronze metallic object materializing out of a bright light in the sky. That's crazy. That's insane. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. I've just copy and pasted that into another document because I wanted to save that image. It's in color now. If I paste it in a document, it's in color. What the hell? Wait a minute. Have I just Jeffrey Epstein these files? Do you remember when people realized that you could copy and paste the PDFs in the Epstein files and they come out unredacted, but redacted? We might have just unredacted the UFO files. What the hell? Yo. I got it in color. Look, now I've got the exclusive UFO files, all right? I'm going to have to do that to every one of these images now. Let's see. This one's not in color. This is archival imagery from the Apollo 17 mission, the enlarged area of the original photo of 3 lights above the lunar terrain. So we did see this in previous images. All the stuff from the Apollo we already saw. This is a still from a video U.S. military operator reported as featuring a UAP flying across their screen. Okay, crazy. A still video captured featuring near the United Arab Emirates, featuring a reported UAP. That was in a video in the Fox News thing I showed you at the start. U.S. military operator reported observing UAPs flying just above the surface of the ocean, taking multiple 90-degree turns at high speed. Why is that happening? Oh dear. So this is a U.S. military operator reported a UAP near Greece flying straight above the ocean towards land. Still from a video featuring an 8-pointed area of contrast captured by an infrared center. So that's the compass-looking UFO once again. This is another one. What the hell? The U.S. military reported a UAP while operating within African airspace. Is that this thing over here? No, that's part of the recul. Where is it though? I can't actually see this one. Where is it? Where's the UFO? What the hell? I ain't seeing this one. I ain't seeing nothing in that one. In 2020, the U.S. Air Force reported a UAP in the southern United States. Is that? Or is it right in the middle there? Is that it there in the middle? U.S. Indo-Pacific Command reported a UAP resembling a football-shaped body near Japan. And this is the last image in this dump. The U.S. Army reported a UAP in North America in 2026. That shit crazy. Okay. So Trump has ordered the release of this stuff. Okay, there's also documents. This is the intro. What was that about? Is that just on this page? Release 1. So these are all the documents, different documents. There's, I believe, 170 or so in here. A bunch of files. Unidentified flying objects. So these are all breakdowns and reports of UFOs being found, okay? Crazy, and you can download the full PDF. You can get everything. Say what you want about Trump, but he has actually released tons of reports. So all those images, like of the ones that we saw in United Arab Emirates, like there's full reports and breakdowns of everything that was seen, explanations from what they saw, the mission narrative, everything's broken down. So it's all here. Go and check it out, war.gov/UFO. Okay, I will be digging deeper into this when I have more time. I've basically just woken up and got to recording videos, had a few links to go through, but we're going to be digging deeper into this, and apparently, according to Tim Burchett, there is going to be an holy crap moment coming out later on, and it's going to be crazy. So I can't wait to see that. I think this is a big step forward, and I think a lot more is coming, and we are not alone. So I hope you found that useful. I'll keep you guys updated when I hear more, and go and check out the full video I did on my main channel about the whole strange disappearances of these UFO scientists. It is crazy, and it's all in one video for you there. So I hope you found that useful. I'll catch you guys in the next vid. Thank you for watching.